Well,
Press. This is press.
Yeah, it counts.
We're promoting our big move.
Yeah. When is the move date?
Soon.
Okay. Not locked in, but
No, it's locked in.
okay.
It's the end of the month.
Really?
The 30th. Yeah.
Okay. I will be at the Odd next week. I'm like,
I'm hosting.
Okay. So I got some time left to.
Yeah.
I was gonna be sad if I didn't get to like be at the Odd one more time.
Sure.
With you hosting it.
Yeah, Julia's gonna take over on the 30th.
Okay.
The Tuesday. Yeah. The day we move is a Tuesday.
Wow.
Just kind of like feels full circle.
You're like pulling out of town, and she's like plugging the mic, setting up the chairs, like on
burning
the same
place down.
Well, here goes Tom Peters' legacy.
Tarnished. Yeah, it's exciting though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, our house is full of boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you guys are gonna drive out to out west?
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna do it over 7 days.
Wow.
Well,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And see some parks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got like animals with you when you're traveling?
We'll have Jacob with us, the dog, but Stevie the cat is gonna come later.
My aunt is gonna take care of our cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you bring the cat to the relationship? And you brought the dog? Or
I like the way you worded that. To the relationship.
Yes. So technically what happened is James and his roommates, Julia was one of them at the time, had taken in what they thought was a stray cat. Mm-hmm. And then someone came and said, actually, this is our cat. You have to give this cat back to us.
Wow.
And they were sad. And then every single time I saw James and Julia, they were like, we're going to get a cat. But then they never got one. So I was like, what if I just go get a kitten and bring it to you?
Yeah.
And they're like, sure. So I went and got Stevie.
And we love Stevie.
Yeah.
How long have we been dating when you did that?
Not very long.
Not that long.
A couple months, I think.
It was like a grand gesture. Romantic gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to pick out the cat.
How long have you guys been together now? It's been a while, right?
4 or 5 years now.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The summer will be 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In July, that's when we started dating. Yeah.
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 And you guys, I missed the roast. It's fun. I had an Atlanta show.
Yeah.
And I went to Atlanta for the show, so I couldn't do the roast, which I was super bummed about. And then that show got canceled.
Oh, no.
Oh, damn.
I was just like driving back during the roast being like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, why did it get canceled?
It was just like the brewery decided to do another thing. And I was like,
yeah.
I guess
annoying.
probably, like it seemed like they knew before the day. So I guess
Sure.
I probably should have like asked. I just assumed the show was going on.
Well, they should have told you, probably.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
So
The
I still had
roast
a good
was
time.
fun. Yeah.
You would
Derek,
have had a great time.
Yeah, I know. I love a good roast.
Yeah.
Derek was the meanest.
He went first, and he just like had all these great like written jokes, and he just like went through. He had note cards, and he was savage, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were well-written jokes, but
Yeah.
people
Wow.
were shocked
And like
and appalled.
Marlene was like next, and I remember her being like, "Well, that was really fucking mean." That was great, but it was like all good friends.
Yeah.
like everyone on the show was like someone who I really care about. I feel like knows us well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is it's like
Right.
I only roast people that I love. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's weird to even give attention to somebody that you don't
Yeah,
care about.
Yeah.
yeah,
Somebody you hate is just like I'll just ignore them.
exactly. I feel like that's the ultimate insult at a roast is just being ignored.
I don't hate anyone. I didn't say that. I don't hate anybody. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad it was good. I'm bummed that I missed it.
It was good
Yeah.
because I don't always like roasts in general.
Really? You mean like the Comedy Central ones?
Yeah,
or-
exactly.
Yeah.
They're like mean spirited.
Yeah, like celebrities.
In a weird
being
way.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. Pete Davidson is funny on roast.
He is.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult your boy.
There's just so many like sleazy has-been.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll do a thing, where they're like, let's have Sylvester Stallone on the
Yeah.
show. And you're like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Right. And you're like,
Why is he sitting next to Shaq? Like,
Exactly.
no one wants to look at them.
He's not a comedian, It's, yeah.
And then there's that one that has Ann Coulter on it, which
Yes.
is
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
weird. It's bizarre,
weird. Yeah.
but very funny.
There were some good jokes
They
about her.
come for
though.
her.
Nikki Glaser is funny in that one.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last time I did one, you were there. It was for Kenny,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember just like the 2 weeks before, just watching all the roasts,
Right.
and just like writing a whole bunch of jokes that you only say once.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a cool, different
I like it, yeah.
exercise.
It's like a thought experiment.
And people usually come out, like people come out to the roasts like more than they're like, I want to see this shit. I want to see my friends be mean,
Yeah.
and evil to each other. It's weird.
Evil. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people will watch like even people they don't know being roasted.
Yeah.
Because it's like fun for them.
Yeah, it's like a fight.
They like the
It's watching
cruelty. Yeah. Yeah. But it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not scrapping the jokes. I'm still using them on James.
Yeah.
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 Just around the house.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Is it's like so good that it just lives on past the roast.
Just continuing the roast practice every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there one in particular that I don't know? Is it weird to?
I really liked the roast that Marlene had about me, where she said I'm the male lead in a movie written by a woman.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
That was funny. And Julia said she can't wait for the two of us to switch genders.
Yeah, that was funny too.
Yeah, that was just good.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
good sampling.
It was a good time. Cody was there too, which like it's always fun seeing Cody do like a show like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was on the show.
Yeah.
This podcast is kind of about Cody. Almost
I've
kind of
noticed.
a podcast, a Cody cast. It's like we spend about
Cody
half of all. I remember that like when Justin came on, I was like, listen back to it. Like we talked about Cody like 60% of the book. Like people that might not know the Asheville comedy. They probably don't listen, but it's like
Justin was like, Cody was born in a cabin in August.
well, Cody's Justin's like hard to read because he claims to never be sarcastic, but he's always like, "Yeah, Cody's the greatest comedian of all time," and I always thought he was joking. But then he came on and he was like, "No, I actually believe that he is the greatest."
He's like, "Why are you laughing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character for sure.
There's no one like him. You ever met another person like him?
No, absolutely
Sometimes
not.
you meet people and they're like, "Oh, that reminds me." He's like, "No, it's just."
I do love him though. I remember the first
Yeah.
time I met him, I really thought he was fucking with me.
Oh yeah.
Because me and my best friend Will, we were at the Odd. And this is maybe before I was a comic too, and we were both wearing like golf hats. I think because we just got them at Goodwill or something. And then like he came up to us, like I was wearing a Titleist hat, I think, and he was like, "Oh, you like golf?" And I thought he was fucking with me.
The other day,
But I think he was just curious.
right, exactly. He's very
Yeah.
curious. When my best friend's Lauren came to the roast, and then just after we went out to Barley's, and Justin was just kind of standing behind us and said, "Is Lauren Allison's friend?" And it was just like, "Yes, she is."
Yeah.
But never in like a normal interaction.
Like the
way.
timing and the tone is a little like
Right.
Right.
unique.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
He is one of my favorite guys to like watch though.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at
I'm a fan.
Mike's.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big time fan.
And when he makes me laugh, he really does like get me. Because
Yeah.
I'd have no idea what he's gonna say.
yeah.
Yeah. The hunting joke.
Oh my god.
One of the best
About
jokes.
Benny. Yeah.
Hunting? Oh yeah. Oh, the hunting. Yeah.
Where he's like,
But, yeah.
my boy Benny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
He's a local treasure. I feel like he's a little bit like Theo Vaughn because it's like you never quite know if they're doing a character or not, and they're like, no, this is me, and you're like, but is it though? Like,
Yeah. I feel like there's lots of people in Asheville like that, or people that come in and out of Asheville. I mean, Mario is kind of like that too. I'm like, are you fucking with me right now? Like,
Yeah.
like the eyes
but
don't match.
it's not.
But I feel like he doesn't know either.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe I am fucking with you.
I'm just trying to figure it out too.
Exactly. Oh. I love Mario.
I know.
Like Jason Webb, you think he's like 10% a character at least?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say 30 to 50% a character.
Yeah.
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 Because he leans into what he knows works.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes I
yeah.
feel like he'll just dial up the country accent,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it works to like good effect.
He's got a Bud Light. It's like, that's a prop. It's not your favorite beer. That's a prop.
When I drink it, that's just a beer. When you do, it's a prop.
I mean, he got a Dollywood tattoo. It's like
Right.
really committed.
Yeah.
That's a permanent prop.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the variety of comics we have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Seems better now than it has been.
I think
it seems
so.
like a good. I was shifting around a lot. I guess y'all are leaving. That sucks. But then like Derek came back. I guess Aaron Naylor's moving here, so it does feel like they were getting some people that you know, are not just like 3 months into comedy, making the list, making the mic lists impossible.
Yeah, I felt it's hard getting on the mic on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's very hard. I've been I like booked some shows for the last month, so I haven't been to the mics, and like I've never really done that before, but now I've realized if you actually book shows and you have a family, you don't get to go to the mics.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't seen like my comedy community in like the last, and that's I'm like just hungry to go back and do like the Odd, Root Bar, and
Right.
Asheville Music Hall. hot seat
Totally.
to all that stuff. I don't know.
Even Root Bar.
Even Root Bar, yeah. It's like Root Bar's like 4 minutes from my house, so it is
okay.
like the easiest. And there's no sign up list mess to navigate.
True.
You can get up, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I like it. It's like I kind of like doing like rural shows a little bit more than probably
Like what
most
areas?
people. Like just like anywhere around, like like the Tri-Cities.
I like those too. Yeah.
Like South Carolina,
Totally.
like some like church full of like old people.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's like I like to try to do it for as many different types of people as I can. And Nashville has its own like little bubble.
Remember, I did a show one time with Hillary where we drove out to Anderson, South Carolina, and that was fun because it was in it was just in a bar, like a sports bar in South Carolina, but it felt different, like decidedly different than here. But they still liked some jokes the same way. Other jokes hit harder, others didn't. You know? It's like it's fun feeling it out. You know.
Yeah, like the anxiety and therapy material.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just like, what the fuck? Would
Yeah.
And you're really like competing with the game that's on.
Yeah.
You know, that's fun too.
the TV was on. At
Yeah,
that
yeah,
show?
yeah. But I like that.
That's Root Bar.
Right.
So short.
Yeah.
It's like right there.
It's big too.
It's big.
It's really funny. Yeah. What's your favorite show you've done recently, traveling around?
That's a good question. I did what was it called? Limericks last Monday in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe it was Tuesday, but it's like a mic but they let you do it. There's like 10-minute spots before.
Yeah.
And it was just like really sleepy, like rainy, not just comics, but it had a cool vibe.
Yeah.
I did another one that was like TVs were on, there was music, and it was like everybody there was like, oh, this sucks, nobody's here. But I'm like, not for me, because I've never seen any of you guys do any of this.
Right.
So I kind of got to feel like I was part of their like local open mic scene for a night. And
Yeah.
a lot of funny people.
I like the comics in Atlanta a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it a little intimidating, which, I mean, going anywhere is intimidating, which I like that. But,
Yeah.
Atlanta's just like so cool.
Right.
It's like a real city.
Yeah. And they're like, I feel like there's like all these people who have like just really polished great material.
Yeah.
Or they just have like a great persona that they can just like riff on stage. It's like so many good comics in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Tamar could have her own sitcom tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
just has such star power. She's hilarious.
I agree.
And Shelly's so funny too.
Yeah.
And I could feel like I could watch them the same jokes over and over again, and I never get tired of it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Emily. I was like, the shows I went to is like, there's like really strong ladies and black dudes on the shows, which is just like really cool. It just sets a cool like tone.
Totally.
'Cause I think Asheville probably mostly been like, not as diverse, which is like not the best. But
Yeah.
I hope that that's getting better. I don't know.
It's interesting to me because it's like, I think, I mean, you can speak on this more than I can, but like guys like me and you is still like always going to be the majority here in Asheville.
Unfortunately, guys that are a lot worse than the both of you are always going to be the majority in Nashville and every comedy scene. I mean, there's just always going to be new dudes that show up that ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think maybe it's getting better, but it's just, I don't know what it's going to take for there to be any type of like, leveling the ratios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like the people who like come to this scene and do really well immediately though aren't like necessarily the typical types of comics.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
a white dude talking about like his dick and
Exactly.
calm the whole time.
they're kind of like, we've seen that.
Yeah.
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 But like, Moira did really well immediately.
Yeah.
Like Dante's doing really well immediately.
He's about to like overtake all of it.
Exactly.
I think he already has. I think it's already happened.
I know.
We've all been
Yeah.
eclipsed by him
Yeah.
in like
Yeah.
a matter of months. It's like good for him.
Yeah.
And Sarah
Must be
Love did really well on that show.
She did.
The Mike Mello show.
Oh yeah, she's very funny.
That was like the most diverse lineup that I've
Yeah.
ever seen. In Asheville
Yeah.
for sure.
Cody was like the only white dude on this show, right? So
Yeah.
that's nice.
And he was like hosting. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. I think like we're talking about Cody about that. Like Shane Gillis might be to blame. Like I like Shane Gillis, but like Cody has this theory that this podcast is just about Cody.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like the one type of comedian that makes everybody feel like, oh, that's me up there, I can do it. And like, and I really like Shane Gillis, but he's just got like I just feel like when I go out like in Tennessee and a lot of places, there's just so many like white dudes that like they hunch over and they do the moves, and it's like it's that bro energy. But I'm like, I feel like Shane kind of subverts it, and he presents that way, but actually has interesting things to say. But
he's a good writer.
You get like 1,000 people that are like, well, that's me up there, so I'll just come and talk about my dick. And
it
feels like right now there's a lot of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I hope I'm not that. I'm trying not to be.
I don't think anyone thinks you're that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. He would still be here.
I believe you.
I love podcasts.
I'll come.
Oh yeah. Do you
That's
ever,
honest.
Ryan? Do you ever like tell someone you're a comedian, then immediately regret it, like a stranger?
Yeah, I've stopped doing it for that reason. Yeah.
I've like the other day I accidentally mentioned while having a massage. I didn't even say, because I mentioned in Denver, and he's like, why Denver? And I was like, well, my partner's comedian. And then I was like, well, I guess I am too. I didn't say it like that, but he figured it out. And I was like, immediately, why did I bring up comedy? Because the rest of my massage, he told me, he was like, why aren't y'all going to go to Austin? And I was like, well, that's not really our vibe, you know? And he was like, why? And he was like, you know, everyone tells me I'm funny. And I was like, oh God, why did I do this to myself?
It always gets there. It's just a matter of when. Good set, man. Hey, you know,
right?
You're not funny.
Right, exactly. And I'm like, no, please.
Do the massage.
Right. This has become the least relaxing massage of my lifetime.
That's just hilarious to me. Like you getting a massage from a dude that's like, you should go to Austin. Like,
I know.
That's like the thing that should never happen. But
hey, do you like kill Tony?
He's like,
you have a lot of tension in your neck.
Exactly. And I was immediately like,
out there. He's like telling you. You're just like, this is not helping with my tension.
No, and then I had to pay him $220 or something. You know. Woof,
yeah, that
was an experience. Yeah.
How long is the massage? You're paying that much?
I don't know. Not really. I think maybe 160. I mean, massages are expensive.
Yeah.
Like an hour, 60 to 90 minutes.
Yeah. It
was a good ass massage. I think he owns one of the studios. So if you're watching this, I appreciate your skills. Just don't talk to me.
Goddamn mouth shut.
Don't talk to me about Austin comedy,
I'm not
please.
paying you to mansplain celebrity comedy to me.
He did at one point be like, "Well, isn't that what comedy is meant to be?" And I was like, "Fuck, please."
That's my least favorite thing.
Stop it.
Yeah.
when new comics say like, comedy exists so you can say things on stage that you're not supposed to say.
Yeah,
that's like my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah. I agree. I had the like dream of working my way up to some things like that maybe someday, but only like with a good empathetic angle. Definitely not just like for its own sake.
Right.
Just like abortion.
Right.
Blah blah blah. Just shock stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like the new people who do that are just so like bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like you can tell you're getting something, but it's not, you know.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're like not as aware. It took me a long time to get aware of the room, and I'm probably still not totally aware, but like maybe shocking things, it's like, oh, I can tell something's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the idea that you make someone laugh against their like, if they're laughing at something that they wouldn't usually laugh at, that's different. I think that's a good that's a cool thing.
Oh yeah.
But like just like going in it to like freak people out or like scare people or shock people. It's totally different than like doing a well-crafted joke that's about something that's like maybe a little taboo.
Yeah. Having like an angle on it
that
you haven't heard before.
Perspective.
Instead of just like, oh, that's it. You're just saying the shocking things and that was all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, to answer your question, like the worst one for me is like when people like I don't tell people at work because like the number of times you're like on some Zoom call with a bunch of like, well, why don't we tell us some jokes?
Oh
it's
yeah.
Like,
no, at my work too. They always want me to do it for like a talent show, like variety show thing on Zoom, and I'm like, under no circumstances will that happen. Just please stop asking me. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom. I mean, you're already fucked there. It's Zoom.
Right, exactly.
And it's like some.
I want to do these for my colleagues.
Culture. Yeah.
No, let's have this separate, please. You know.
Did you do any like Zoom shows during COVID?
I did Geos once.
I did Geos too.
And I was like, I'll never do.
That felt like the end times.
Yeah. it was so,
It's so rough.
And I was like, God, I hope it's not like on the internet somewhere. Not that anybody would like ever watch it, but Yeah.
You know, because it was like my perfect jokes, you know, but there was like lag, you know, and like buffering.
Right, of course.
So they didn't translate.
The timing.
Right, of
That's
course.
why I won't do this virtually, because I don't. People are like, "Oh, can we do it virtually?" I'm like, "No, I don't want the timing." Like, to me,
Yeah.
it's like we're kind of like, it's like making music. I wouldn't like jam with you guys over the internet.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
I did a few for Melissa too. Those were, I was like so eager to do shows again that like at first it was kind of a fun novelty, but then it got sad.
yeah,
I feel like.
I just did it once. It was sad the whole time. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like-
yeah.
yeah. I was kind of just glad to take time off. Honestly, I don't think I was even trying to do.
Yeah.
Because I think there's just part of comedy can almost be like, oh, I got to go out because other people are getting better if I'm not. And it's
Yeah.
really trying not to ever be motivated by like fear.
Sure.
I mean, especially like at my age, it's like that's really not. It should be enjoyable, you know.
Sure.
Like I'll be dead soon enough. Like it should be fun. So it
You're
was
not
kind
that
of nice
old.
to it speeds up, it accelerates.
Yeah, I was just like during that time, I wasn't doing anything. I was just like writing a ton. But then I was like inspired because Mike Birbiglia started doing these like live like things where he'd do jokes live.
Oh, really?
Just to like do them in front of his like audience. Who were, like-
Virtually?
yeah.
Oh.
Like on Instagram.
Oh,
And then like he would get famous comics to come in and talk to him. And then like pretty much is what his podcast is now.
mm-hmm.
But he like started doing that during the pandemic. And I was like, well, I could do that with like our friends. But that's like how I stayed sane, I feel like.
yeah. They have like an AI thing now, and I tried like a trial month of it where I can like drop this whole video in, and then AI tries to pull out the viral reels for you.
Whoa.
And like
Yeah.
crops it, so it's like because that's like the most time consuming thing is like doing it, editing it, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it because it would just pull out the most shocking things. It would just be like, this is what the clickbaity stuff. So it's like everything was like, if we like mentioned gay or anything, it would, you know, and it's like, I'm not really trying to like,
Wow.
Yeah.
you know, I want people to actually like, if they're going to listen to it, want to listen to it and not be.
That's so interesting because
Yeah.
we've been talking about that, right? Like the reels that get the most interaction are when people are arguing in the comments.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's so dystopic that that's what they are like, yeah, use this.
Yeah.
You'll get clicks on this.
I feel like it makes
Yeah.
comics tailor their material to like doing things that people are going to comment about.
Yeah.
That freaks me out.
Yeah.
And just like be nasty to each other about. It's like so conflict driven. But
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
did speaking of like getting good clips, we just did a Rhizome show in Raleigh.
Oh, yeah.
And they do like really nice editing and like they do like a really interesting like stage like set
It's a great
design.
room.
It's super cute. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rhizome?
Yeah, it's Raleigh based but it's not just I don't know.
Devin
Sorry.
Roberts, do you know her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe just from social. I don't know if I've met.
Yeah.
them.
But some of our friends have done it. I think they don't only do shows in Raleigh, unless we have some
Yeah.
Atlanta comics have done it.
Yeah.
It's like 4x3 where they like have more than one camera and they travel around and actually try to make it a.
Yeah, but for
It's like
me,
that.
it felt very like natural and like I don't know, like the sets felt more like it didn't feel like a big production to me.
Yeah.
But the clips look really good. You know, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool because I feel like I see specials a lot of times where you can tell the comedian's like freaked out because it's so
Exactly.
artificial. It's like, oh, I've seen them in like a comfortable space.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is my night. And they're like wearing
Right.
something they shouldn't be wearing. And they're
Yeah.
standing next to a grand piano, like, oh.
Right.
You're like, oh, man, it can so often go
Yeah.
so wrong, you know? This
I
is your
know.
one shot. And it's
They
like,
start doing
let's put 'em in a-
impressions. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, I've never seen them do impressions.
Just start just saying new things. That,
Yeah. Which I felt that a little bit with the Cody special. I was very nervous
Yeah.
because it felt
Yeah.
like a big deal.
Yeah. It turned out good, though.
I thought so.
But yeah. And I also think it's like I was talking to Cody about that. It's like, well, this is the first time you do this. Like, it's like you kind of have to just do things, and like it's usually not like the first time you do something's amazing.
Yeah.
But if you let that keep you from doing it the first time, then you never get to the one that might actually be like more fully what you are. It's like that's
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of this, just doing a lot of these and to kind of figure it out as you go. Like some of the early ones, the sound is terrible, but you just keep doing things, and then it comes into focus on its own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
You're a
that.
beautiful man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I did have a lot of fear of like the first thing that was going to be recorded in like a special type atmosphere.
Yeah.
Of it being like, oh, you got to burn your material, or like that's what you have to base everything off of, or like that's what people are going to see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear, but then like it feels good just to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
You've got that snapshot of that time, and you'll do another one, and
Exactly.
it'll just keep getting better. And someday it'll be like, oh, that's our band's first album or first demo. It's like, and then we grew into this other thing.
Exactly.
But, it doesn't have to be like perfect forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And like I'll listen to old specials from comics I really like, and I'm like, oh, this isn't perfect. You know? Well, I'll be like, oh, you didn't fully nail that. You know? And it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to record. I was like really trying to get a special or do my own like little thing like that. But and now it's like just with each week, I feel like the flood of how many there are. It's almost like I don't even know if it's just lost in the sea. I mean, how many YouTube specials are uploaded a day? I'm sure it's a lot, you know. So it's like I don't know. That's why stuff like this kind of appeals to me a little more. Like trying to do more like casual. I mean, there's same with podcasts. There's like a million podcasts uploaded every day too. But I don't know. You talked about like conflicting material and like how do you guys pick do you like pick what you want to talk about first when you're like, how do you guys approach coming up with material? What do
you think?
You go first.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I just have like a running like notes app situation where if I think of a joke, I just write it down, the like bones of it. I feel like what's funny to me. And then later I bring out my journal and I kind of expound on that or see if it'll work as a joke. A lot of them I just scrap, you know, where I'm like, oh, that was just funny for me. I'll have that forever, I guess.
Yeah, like a digital, like a bunch of short
ideas, like a lot of
but
little
then you'll like write with pen to paper on.
Yeah.
See which one's like.
Totally. But sometimes I'll like, when I'm being lazy, I won't get my journal and I'll just take the note app to the stage. But sometimes that's when it's the best. And when I expound on it, it gets worse. So, but you know, with longer jokes, I try to string them together. That's when the journaling really helps.
Yeah. Have you always done it that way? More or less?
Yeah, more or less. I used to really do it longhand, like every word written out.
Yeah.
I do that less now. I just kind of sketch the idea, but yeah, it used to be like word for word, but then I was being like a little too robotic on stage, which I think a lot of people are when they start.
Yeah, for sure.
But
James was a little bit like Dante too. He was like, I feel like you were accepted into like the shows and you were kind of like one of those, the person from our class that like got in the first.
Thanks for saying that.
First
That's a
year.
weird thing to say
and
about
me and
yourself.
Baby George were like,
I don't know. I think it helped that I already knew Tom Peters, so he gave me opportunities and yeah. And back then, Carrie and Blaine were like booking shows a lot.
Yeah.
And Petey, like the disclaimer guys. So that helped too. It's like once I did well on Wednesday a few times, they were like, hey, do you want to do our shows? So that was cool.
Yeah.
I think there's like two axes. It's like likability and then like being good at it and being funny.
Right.
And so like I just think he was probably very likable.
Yeah.
And it's just some people are you're just like,
thank you.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
I can't listen. Even if like you have good jokes.
You have to get so good at comedy.
I can't pay attention to you.
I feel like what's crazy about a comic like Anthony Jeselnik or something, where it's like I don't like him at all,
but he's charming.
But his jokes are so well written, you know.
Right.
I'm like, I do like.
Yeah,
this.
he is lower on the likability scale and higher on the just like skill of comic.
He's singular though. He's like I feel like because he's like I am the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who else really does that.
No,
it's just like I am a villain.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
like a Disney evil. Not Disney because it's fucking X-rated, but
Disney X. Yeah, he was one of the first ones that like understood. Oh, if I upset some people, I'm gonna build a pretty solid fan base.
Yeah, because Blackburn was on and we were talking about Jeselnik and he was like saying the same thing we were saying, like, oh, just shocking stuff. But it was like Jeselnik's just shocking, and I was like, yeah, but the jokes are like really well written. He's
a great writer.
Nah, it's just shock.
Who said that?
Blackburn.
Blackburn did.
Oh, okay.
This podcast will be all about Justin for the first time. Covered Cody.
I mean, I do think he's different, but how do you write jokes, Allison?
Some of the I was thinking about it. I feel like I don't have as much of a regimented process because I've been doing it like a third of the amount of time that he has. Some of the jokes that I have are just like things that were bothering me that I was like, I have to talk about this somehow.
I like that.
Like the IUD stuff. And then like more recently at this silly like Taylor Swift like Paul McCartney joke. Like
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one.
that stuff. That was literally just me being like, should I type like an angry post on Instagram or should I try and write a joke? and
Yeah.
and it is like a healthier outlet, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I just do it like a few times, and then I do lean into crowd work. So I might have I have like several tags that have just like come out of crowd work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I love that you did like crowd work from the beginning. That's really different. That's like really stood out for me.
Oh yeah.
Most people don't ever do it, or they have to wait years to get comfortable to do it.
Or like I feel like some people just do it because they feel like they have to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just like you don't even want to be doing this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for you, it's like it seems genuinely fun when you're on stage.
Yeah, I have fun
Yeah.
with it and like have a plan for it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just like I don't have anything to talk about. It's like a set of specific questions with some expected, results. Like it's not just completely aimless.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's
and
a
it
lot of
fits
fun.
with your jokes too. The tone, the topics are kind of like similar.
But you being on a show does just make the show better too, because it gives like other comics who aren't going to do that research about the audience, like stuff that they can talk about and joke about.
Yeah.
Like I do crowd work based on your crowd work all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fun. And people love it.
Yeah.
Like, people love the like authentic callback. They're like, we're part of this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think with your joke writing process? I feel like you've tried to change it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm always trying to change it, and I could. It's my favorite thing to like process. Is I'm really interested in it, which is why I'm doing this. But I used to write everything out longhand, and now I'm trying to get more conversational too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring up ideas that are just kind of like not finished and finish them. But I'm also trying to move towards like these are the things that I'm afraid of. I'm thinking about anyway. Like that, like what you said. It's like I'm already annoyed about this, or I'm already like afraid of this. So that's like a new thing. Trying to like talk about stuff that matters to me. And like I like what you said about the Twitter post, because I feel like if you did post something angry on Twitter, like no one really like that's not a way people take it. Almost makes people more like dig their heels in, or they already agree with you. But if you can make them laugh in a room, I think you really can change. Like the ideas can maybe get in there
Totally
more.
Yeah, and just like the purpose of comedy, I feel like for me, a lot of the times is that if at least one person in the audience feels seen and feels like they resonate with what you're saying, then it feels worth it to me.
Yeah.
So if I share something that's been bothering me or that I've been thinking about, and there's like 3 women in the room, they're like, yes, like thank you.
Yeah.
That feels really good
You
to
can
me.
see them.
And then sometimes they come up to me afterwards and say like, hey, thank you for talking about this. Like I don't hear people talking about this very often.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about more serious stuff on stage. Like I want to talk about like grief and death and loss and stuff like that. And I think it's difficult to get to that. We've talked about this a lot, like in a 5-minute set, right? It's like I have to win them over, then I can say something serious, and then I need to end it on a laugh.
Yeah.
And you can't really get super deep in that amount of time.
Yeah.
I have like one joke about the like memorial tattoo I have on my ankle. It's a picture of a dog with some dates underneath of it, but it's the people that died, not the dog. And I want to like really, I want to have like a 20-minute set that's like about that story.
Yeah.
But I think it takes a long time to build up that type of content and have it be palatable and interesting to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's like the Birbiglia thing. Like, I mean, his first album is like almost like Mitch Hedberg type.
I love those albums.
Like I think long form can kind of take more time, but it's worth doing. Like, having some like long thematic, cohesive thing that is really your story.
I'm so scared of doing stories because
it's weird because you said that like you don't like storytellers, but then you're also like Birbiglia is like your favorite.
I know,
And
but
he's
like
the ultimate. Is he?
But I really like his early albums where he's just a jokes guy.
Yeah.
And I think it makes his stories like supercharged because he's so skillful at writing quick jokes.
Yeah.
And he's like the best. I don't like storytelling comedians, but I like him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you also do have more storytelling jokes now, like the Daryl the Barrel joke.
That's true.
Like that's pretty long, and it gets to a real story. And there's so many people when he talks about Vacation Bible School in the audience that are like, yes, there's so many people who have experienced that down here. It'll be interesting to see if in Colorado if there's the same number of people who resonate with that stuff in the South. I don't know. It's going to be super interesting for us to be in a new market and see what works. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting when you said that you like to write jokes about stuff that you like want to talk about, topics that are important to you. So I was going to say, I don't necessarily think that way, but I think I actually do more than I think I do.
Exactly.
Because like I write jokes about these things that are personal to me, but then I end up talking about things that I do want to talk about that I think are important.
Yeah, that are like thematically like pretty heavy, pretty deep stuff, but you do it in like a jokey way. That's palatable.
Like church and religion.
Yeah, I think it happens automatically. You're like, oh, here's some funny little observations, but then if you keep going with those ideas, it actually does reveal who you are and your view of the world too. So you can almost like, even though you're kind of talking about little things, like if you keep going with them, it'll lead to bigger things. I don't know. I mean, that for me, that's been like the journey of it. It's like at first it's like short jokes, getting any laugh is hard, but then trying to get more into like long stories and just things that like I love stories because nobody like AI couldn't write a story about like what happened to me. So to me that seems like a kind of a more future proof way. Yeah. But there's so many ways to do it. That's what's cool about it. Like, I want to, it's like what you're saying about Allison's crowd work. Like I want to see a show with like a lot of different types of comedians on it. That's like my ideal show. It's like every comic's really different.
Like doing a different style.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
And I feel like we get that a lot on showcases in Asheville, which is really fun. Just like so many different personalities and also just like approaches to how folks are doing comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's new people that come out and get really good. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, like what Asheville comedy looks like at the end of this year. It feels like there's a really big shift happening. Like when we first started, like about a year, it seemed like a lot of people left. Like there was like this whole tier of like senior comics, and then they almost all left. Totally. And then some of them come back, like Jason Webb and Cody have come back. Yep. You guys, maybe you'll return someday. I mean, Derek's back, so it's kind of interesting. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. I'm trying to figure out how to do touring, like little, like,
I like what you're doing right now. I didn't even realize you had a website.
Oh,
I was on your website the other day. I was like, there's a lot of dates on here.
I'm a little embarrassed about the website from
it's cool.
my comic friends, but like, Greg Harden, the guy that does funny business.
Yes.
I talk about him sometimes on here because he's like, he books like casinos, clean shows, college gigs, like not necessarily the kind of thing I want to do all the time, but it's another type of show, and they pay better. And I was like, I'd like to become a headliner at some point, and he's like, you got to make a website.
Well, that Melissa said that.
She said that on Facebook.
I just heard her say that. So it's interesting because I've asked both of them, and Melissa's alt, and he's like, more whatever the word is. Corporate doesn't sound right, but traditional, like old school, and it's like I really like asking them both and then getting those answers and then seeing what resonates. But I've noticed that having the website and having the best thing about the website is I put all my show dates on there, even if it's like not
mics and stuff.
I mean, a lot of them, no, not mics, but if I get a feature set on a mic like out of town, I might put that on there.
Sure.
Like if the Laughing School booked me, I might put that on there, but once it's like a vision board or something where like once you like I want to do more shows in more places, and when the website is like visual proof that it's working. So I think there can be kind of I'm really big on like goals and shit like that. Which
that's
is
like my friends who are in bands. They'll do like a upcoming gigs thing, and like sometimes on their posters will be like, hopefully Boston. It's like, oh, so you haven't gotten that one yet. But,
that's not enough. Hopefully, like, I'm going to be there on this day. I don't know if anyone's
exactly.
So I don't know. I guess it's like we talk about this with Mario and stuff too. Like with some bookers, it's like creating the illusion that you're more legit than you are. Totally. So you can, because I don't want fame or money. I just want like as much time on stage as I can get in as many different places, because I'm just in it for the journey of it. I think it's
that's cool.
We're learning how to like speak your truth as well as you can before you die and make people laugh, and you meet all these cool people. Like if I didn't do comedy, I would be at work. It's like a lot of people that are demographically like me, like IT bros in their 40s. So comedy, it's like there's all these benefits, and then you start going out into other cities and you meet people.
We talk about that a lot. Like there's just so many people that I would never have come into contact with if I didn't start doing comedy. It's just so interesting, like because you do sort of opt into like your circle that's like people who are just like you. And it also just like gives us like an in to make friends places. Like in Denver, I'm not worried about like being lonely because we just automatically are going to have friends. And a lot of people don't have access to that type of community. I didn't before comedy. Nothing else ever stuck in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I work, and people are like, "We're going out to the brewery after work," and I'm like, I only get to go out a few nights a week. I don't. We just work together all day.
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
go. I want to go to the Odd and like see my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's It's the most diverse group I've ever been a part of.
Especially when you like, host an open mic,
Yeah.
you really see everyone.
Some people you don't want to see.
Too much.
You see a whole
See too
underbelly. I feel like, yeah, but it's cool. I'm gonna miss it for sure.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you. This is like a comedy question I've been thinking about. How well do you like when a comic wants to give you like a tip or like advice on like a joke?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I have a hard time sometimes like taking advice from other comics, or like
You get upset that they suggested it, or you just don't listen to it.
It might just be kind of a me thing, but like I have a hard time like putting the trust in them, being like, yes, you can help me write my joke better than I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my friends who are really funny have helped me with jokes before.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a hard like ego thing, I think.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's complicated. I mean, I like the idea of like, especially somebody like when you see somebody lose the audience, but they don't know where they lost him. Like, if I ever let me fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
if you. So I would love it if you guys ever said anything you thought about.
That's cool.
What's
I want to
working
be
or
more
not
like
working.
that.
But the second part is like, if somebody's like, use this tag. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I've never really had it work, where I'd do it a few times, and then I'm like, always trying to. That's another thing that's changed for me, is like trying to keep the jokes living and breathing and changing, and not like some things kind of become less good the more you say them. But if I did get like the biggest laugh on a line somebody else gave me,
Yeah.
I think that would maybe be a little weird, but it's never happened, because I think it's almost like people giving me advice expands my mind and awareness of what it can be.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think I probably am better to write for my voice than like other people. Like Cody's gave me a few things at the workshop like years ago, and I'm like, well, I could see how he would do
Exactly.
that.
Right.
With his
Exactly.
like, but I'm like, then I'm just like saying it like me, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I kind of want Cody to do the joke now, because
Yeah.
Oh.
But like there's like this thing, I think we've talked about this, where like when a comic you really like and like admire too, like gives you like advice on a joke, or like what they would do with the joke, it's almost just cool that they were like listening to your joke.
Oh yeah, that you
like
feel
when,
seen,
right? Like
Yeah.
when PD gives me like a tag or something, I'm like, that's cool that you listened to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember Grayson Morris did that for me too when I was new, and I was like, oh, cool.
You know who I am?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on like where it's coming from. Like, because
Yeah.
you can tell when it's a real sign of like affection and respect. Like
Yeah.
if PD does it, but sometimes I think if someone does it, it's really like, okay, so that would make it more funnier to you,
Yeah.
but maybe
Yeah.
you're not my audience,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on like where the spirit of where it's coming from, and like how well you know the person,
Totally.
and everything
Yeah.
like that.
I liked what Derek did with me recently. Derek Boscovich, he was like, after I did a set, he was like, hey, do you want some unsolicited advice? I thought that was like a good
nice
angle.
like consent.
Exactly. And I was like, yeah, go for it.
But would he have not told you if you said no?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
There's no way you would say. It's probably just like there's a little paperwork up front. It's like
Right.
I'm letting you know that I'm aware enough that this could. Can I get you guys some more? Do you want another one?
This is good, man.
Yeah, I'll have
that
some
okay?
more.
What do you think Ryan's favorite band is?
Blink 182.
311.
Reliant K.
Now it's just us. Now it's just the Lovers podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Do you see that bucket of babies over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Do
going
you think
on?
that's Ryan's?
I think that's his bucket of babies.
His bucket of babies.
So should we talk about Cody?
Cody Hughes.
Cody Hughes.
What a man.
The Cody Hughes podcast.
Love Cody. Hope I wasn't too mean on the roast about him.
He cried.
Yeah. Hey, viewers, say in the comments, was I too mean to Cody at the roast? Yeah. I don't think anyone cried at the roast.
No, I can't wait until Ben Gibson takes over Cody's place in Asheville comedy.
I know,
As like
right?
neurotic young man.
He just has to stay the course for like
Yeah.
14 more years or something.
I love
That's
that
gonna be
guy.
the hardest part, but
Yeah,
True,
for
he's
sure.
so young.
yeah. I feel like Ben, I just have this feeling that like we love him here
Uh-huh.
more than any like Like, because he's been some other places, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like I've heard who else was saying that to me recently that Larry was saying that he like was trying to do comedy in Florida, and everyone was just like, people just didn't accept him.
In Florida?
Yeah, which makes sense, but he feels like he fit in. Like I think our scene is kind of like a little, you're allowed to be a weirdo, maybe more than like certainly in the Southeast, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting.
Like Ben, it kind of makes sense for him to be here.
He can be here or Portland. That's it.
But he's been really like embraced by like Greenville, though.
Has he?
I think
I
so.
don't think he does comedy in Greenville. I think the Greenville comedians that we still allow to come here like him.
They really do like him.
Yeah. Which are also, you know, some little weirdos.
Yeah.
Talking about like Zlata and Coble.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Zlata and Coble.
Oh yeah.
Coble painted a picture of Jacob, our dog, and gave it to us as a going away present.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that?
He said it was for both of us, but it's
No,
really just
none of
for
the
Allison.
none of the Asheville comedians gave us anything that nice.
Well, this is the gift of this podcast and the tea. It's the tea.
I mean, this has been a
that
great
You guys
gift.
are actually
nice.
giving me the gift of the
You did
your
make
time,
this.
but I made you some tea.
Yeah. No, that's really nice.
This is most comparable to the painting of the dog.
Yeah.
I've worked
I've worked
I
on
think this is a little better than Coble's dog painting.
Wow. The truth comes out.
And I love the painting.
And then the other
Coble,
one.
thanks for the painting.
Is it Mackenzie too? That's been coming around. She's funny.
She's a great
Yeah.
joke
Oh,
writer.
Mackenzie is
Yeah.
another Dante type. I think just like what I mean. I assume she's new.
Is she
I want to
new?
get her on the podcast. I'm like, I
don't
assume
know.
well, maybe she's not new. It makes sense that she wouldn't be.
She has great jokes.
And yeah, and just the likability, charisma, jokes. Just like, what is happening? Why is this?
The Build-A-Bear. She said she never did a sober shift when
At
she was
Build-A-Bear.
working at Build-A-Bear. That's so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I really want to have her on and just find out more. I've not really ever talked to her much, but I just always enjoy watching her. She's amazing.
You should do the three of them. You should do Greenville Takeover.
You already did
Oh,
Coble and Slaughter.
Yeah, Coble and Zlata came over, and
I listened to it.
Coble was like nervous and weird. It hasn't gone up yet. This is 20. They were 19, so it'll be up like next. Both of them will be up next week. But he was
Okay,
like,
I'll
He's a
listen to
nervous
it.
young man.
he was nervous. Then he was like, "Oh, you should have gotten Mackenzie for this."
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
And then he
really?
started looking over at the screen over here, being like, "I'm not talking as much as you guys." He like figured out, and I'm like, "It's kind of on your It's kind of I shouldn't have mentioned that." I'm like, first of all, I never promised you that everyone was going to talk the same amount of time, Coble. That was
Right,
not-
there's no rules.
Yeah,
Wow.
maybe fucking talk more if you want to.
Like, I'm an insecure person, and even me, I'm like, well, that's insecure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am too. I relate to it. I mean, I love Coble's one of the first people I thought about having on because when we talk at mics, I just feel like we could talk all day.
for sure.
It's casual. He's got that nerdy.
I love Coble.
Like I can relate
The
to.
three of y'all love old man music.
Well, you
Sad
just
old-
are an old man.
Well, yeah, I actually am an old man. Yeah, I just call it music.
No, Coble talks to James about music that his dad listens to every day. You're not as old as his dad.
I remember
I'm like
one
in
time,
between though.
like at the roast, I think you roasted me for listening to old man music. Like you said that on the mic.
What are we talking about? Like REM
But
or
then
something? The Smiths. Like, what is old band music?
Well, I mean, no, I
Bono.
mean, I listen to like,
Bono.
like Steely Dan and like,
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
and I love those bands.
Yeah, that's old man music, yeah.
Right. Beach Boys.
70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love like the Stones too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Velvets.
Yeah.
That's old man music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
I really thought that like I didn't realize how cliche it was. Like when I was growing up, I was like, I like the Pixies,
Right.
the Velvet Underground, and it was like
Yeah.
Marlene's joke about that. I'm like, at this age, I'm like, every dude that's like me
I
likes
know.
that shit. I didn't know those guys in high school, but I'm
That's
such a cliche. I thought I had
that's
such
what I was
original
like.
taste.
I had like such a dumb realization moment when like people in my life started telling me that like Radiohead is like a bro-y band for people. I was like, I had no idea. Like when I was in high school, I was the only one who liked Radiohead.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
Sure you were.
know?
You know what I mean? It is
But I
interesting.
was.
Like what breeds that like terminal uniqueness? is
I know,
what I'm
right?
saying,
And
you know
I'm
what I
like,
mean?
wait, bad people like this band? No way. But
Yeah.
it's like they
I'm
do.
the only one.
Yeah,
You
but
can
I
only-
mean, but in high school, I really was the only one.
Sure.
Small Episcopal-
Radiohead, like, the
like
biggest band in the world. They're
None
like,
of your boys that
I
were
went
in
to
the
like a
band.
hyper Christian like prep school.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that makes sense.
He went to a freaky school.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Are your parents still religious? Like,
Yeah.
pretty okay.
Mhm.
Is it cool?
Should we talk about your mom?
Is it weird? Like, are they like, you gotta be saved or whatever? Or
I feel like it's mellowed out a little bit. And also I'm not someone who's like fully like I think of myself as like a spiritual person.
Yeah.
Like I don't bash like religion. I just don't like forced religion and like organized. Like you have to go memorize these hymns and stuff.
We did all get Bibles for Christmas. So
you got a Bible.
I got a Bible.
From James' family.
He got a
You
Bible.
get a Bible. You
Sister
get a Bible.
got a Bible. We all got a Bible. And it was like at the end, like after all the other presents were done, it was like, let's bring out the Bibles.
Wow, that was the closer.
So, it was the closer.
The cherry on
Since
top.
you're living with our son, here's some Bibles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they cool with you guys living together?
No, we're not allowed to sleep in the same bed.
It was
at
a
their house.
funny situation. We had dinner with my grandparents recently, and it became like apparent that they thought we were going to announce that we were like getting married, but we had no intention on doing that.
She was like, "So do you want to give us the news now?" And I was like,
"What
news?
Denver has great breweries. Is that the news?"
Yeah, but his grandparents are really cool. Like,
yeah, I
just,
love
like,
them.
Very...
I love them.
So I think it's all the bubble baths, right?
Oh, nice.
Is that we did like a farewell tour where we saw all the living grandparents, and it was like
It was a lot.
It was a lot of visiting because his mom's parents are not together. So we did those two, his dad's parents and my mom's parents, all in one weekend.
Wow,
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You got grandparents still alive?
They're
I
old.
guess you guys are young. Yeah.
But,
I only have one set still alive. He does. He has two though.
Well,
and
I
his
realize
grandfather's 90.
I haven't had like much
Damn.
of a relationship with my grandfather. It was a big realization that he's kind of a badass.
He is. He's like BDE granddad. He has a sign.
BDE?
That's a
It's an outdated term.
Okay.
Really? You're gonna make me say it?
big dick energy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that expression.
Like me and you both have it too.
Yeah.
He's just like the most swaggered out granddad
He
you've
is.
ever seen in your life.
He's got
It's
like a
so
signed Clint Eastwood poster of
Oh.
like Unforgiven, and it says like it's like keep your head up, Pete. Clint Eastwood. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And he was a surgeon.
He literally does.
What a detail.
That's sick.
He was a surgeon and he was telling us about some surgeries he did on famous people.
Yeah, Hank Aaron. He said he
What kind of surgery?
You look disturbed.
He said he removed
I'm
his
just trying to
hemorrhoids.
understand. I'm like-
Hemorrhoids.
He removed Hank Aaron's hemorrhoids.
Because it's like a badass dude and then the
Yeah.
surgeon. That was my mind was trying to.
You don't think
was like-
doctors are cool?
Oh, do you think he needed to be a biker?
I mean, I'm not presuming what anyone needs to be, but I've just never heard of like somebody in that age being both. I don't know. Maybe
I know.
this
He's
makes more
too
sense from that
hot.
generation.
He's like hotter than he should be.
He's hot?
For
He's
a
kinda hot.
90-year-old man.
Yeah.
It's
He
weird.
does have big.
It was weird.
no,
He's
kinda
like
does.
tall. And he just looks like James, but 90.
Yeah,
It's weird.
hot but just older. Just like,
Well, now we're bringing my hotness into question, which I don't want to talk about.
It's hard to explain.
talk about James
just the
Hotness?
way that he told stories and stuff. You were like, okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got a
listen.
gravitas about him.
right.
you know?
like a cool, like you lean in when he's talking.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He has like a really old house in Winston-Salem. And it's like full of like books and old photos. And he was a nom, you know?
Shit. Does he do
Yeah.
like take a lot of pauses? You have a low voice. Like, what is his tone?
Yeah.
when he's-
Gravelly.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have like James was like, tell me about Vietnam.
Yeah,
And
I
he-
did say that.
He did talk to us about it. I was worried. I was like, oh no,
No, it's
this
kinda
visit's
cool,
gonna
though.
go downhill.
He was like, I took so many pictures. He was like, I hope they get developed one day. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Huh.
And he like always has like a glass of whiskey with him.
Yes, yeah.
Not saying that alcohol is cool, but
No, whiskey's the best.
whiskey's pretty cool.
I don't have any desire to drink an IPA, but like a whiskey.
Yeah.
Like a neat, like nice.
Yeah.
I'm not a big beer person.
I love beer.
Yeah, you like the
We
bourbon.
can tell.
Yeah.
Huh?
You like the bourbon, right? Yeah.
Whiskey, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do I try not to drink clear liquor anymore. Like I don't like vodka and gin.
Why clear?
They just both make me feel sick.
You like a Negroni.
I like Negronis, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I think I associate those with just like drinking to get drunk in college and puking. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Vodka's what kind of finished me off during the pandemic. We started keeping vodka in the freezer.
Vodka's
Oh,
bad.
no.
And it was just like a little
Yeah.
nip here, a little nip there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, I started to just like it. Like it's cold and neat
Sure.
so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Like I'd be putting like hand sanitizer on. I'm like, this kind of smells.
I wonder.
It's like it's time for me to stop. I liked your joke. One time you were like, "Oh, a lot of comedians have quit drinking." I don't know if it was a joke or just something you said one time. You're like, "I'm still." I don't know. There was a premise there that was funny.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
because like a lot of us are like, there's like people that are still drinking and people that a lot of comedians have had to stop.
Right, I'm still in like the fun, dysfunctional lead up to being sober.
Right.
Still making it everywhere on time. I was always like super highly functional. I mean, I don't like identify as like an alcoholic or anything, but it was so much like having enough and then making sure I didn't need to drive and then being at work and getting my kids. It was like so much calculating to do it safely. Then when I removed it, I had all this extra brain space to like start a podcast and do other stuff. So it's been good for me.
That's good.
But I drank for like 25 years a lot, and it was I had a great time, so I support it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not drinking all the time. I've definitely like tapered back. You know?
I have a weird like opposite thing where I didn't drink at all for my entire 20s, like 20 to 30, because of like family stuff. Had a real like abstinence only mindset, and so I'm like just now learning to drink in my 30s and have like a fun, balanced time with it.
Yeah.
And James did the opposite. He almost drank himself to death, and now he has some reason within his habits.
Yeah.
Still young though.
In college, I drink a lot, but now I think I'm in a good place where
I mean, I've never seen you like.
That's the thing, right?
You always got a drink in your hand, but it's never like
exactly.
Never
No, he doesn't get sloppy.
Yeah, sloppy. That's the word.
There's only one time where I did a mic where I was really drunk. This is when the Southern was still a thing, and I just went way over the light. I didn't even like pay attention to the light at all, and Carrie played me off. And Carrie was like, "I like you, man, but you're just drunk." It was really funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
That's the only time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
Huh. But there is something about like when I get on stage, I do want to have I like having like one drink before I get on stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Sounds great. Yeah. No, it's just like, I don't know, health stuff. It's like eventually I need to, you just kind of got to stop doing as much stuff. Like even like fried chicken and ice cream and stuff. Eventually I'll have to.
Yeah.
Fried chicken's so
good. I'm not looking
good.
forward to that.
We just had some really good fried
chicken
chicken when we were home.
Oh yeah. I make fried chicken. It'll fucking destroy. It'll knock your socks off.
Hell yeah.
Like a fried chicken.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
It's like the best food.
Yeah. Ryan, how old were you when you learned how to cook? What'd that process look like?
The fried chicken? That
just
was like
in general.
Recent.
I
never
question.
Okay. I'm not. James is like, no, still haven't. Like Mike, I mean, I right now we are in kind of a weirdly traditional more like thing where I like work and financially support the family, and Emily does all the home stuff, which is like kind of interesting because we didn't start out that way. So I have not been cooking that much recently.
But you
Emily's
can
like
cook.
amazing at it. Yeah, I can. I mean, I can do like a fried chicken, and I can grill stuff. I used to cook a lot more.
I think I could get into it though.
Yeah,
he says that a lot.
Once I start doing,
you got to get into. It's like comedy. You got to get into it, make mistakes. Get messy, spend a bunch of time and energy.
I can like devote myself to like a little craft.
Because we're gonna be kind of the opposite in Denver. Like I'm gonna be working full time. He's gonna be exploring comedy full time, but also have a lot of free time to become a domestic.
Because comedy's a night thing.
Wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Laundry and shopping and food and stuff.
Making healthy lunches.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just both of us I think want to switch places a lot. It's like you can feel like you're not seen. Like it's like maybe I'm just like there's just food and and then I feel like everybody's just like there's money and I have to do it. So I think it's like it can be challenging, just like not feeling seen.
Totally.
We have really good therapists that has helped us a lot.
Oh, that's
with
good.
That stuff.
Like a couples therapist?
Yeah. I've been going to her for like 3 years. I've had so many bad ones, and then I was like me and this dude for a while, and I don't know what's happening when it's happening, but then now we have someone that's so great. She's so amazing, and it's like we just kind of work on our own shit there.
That's great.
I mean, if it didn't cost so much, I'd go like every week, but
totally
try to go like once a month. But it's like
that's cool.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Really great,
all this kind of stuff, like the the fights. You know, you gotta have some place to go. Like,
Yeah.
Just like negotiating, sharing
Yeah.
a life. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
like a lot there, I'm sure. Yeah. Tell us all your marriage lessons. Tell us all the biggest pitfalls and highest successes.
Oh man, I need to get more material on that. You know, I feel like it's like so easy to be like the cliche dude talking about
Yeah.
shit about your wife, so it's kind of a
Yeah.
hard thing. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it more in like what you did, the way we're talking about it now, like find a funny way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything I could say right now that would be, but I do think like I'm working on it a bit now where it's like at my age, like loyalty is like the hottest shit in the world.
Yeah. I like that one.
that's
Like,
Yeah.
it's like when you get to be my age, like it's like not as many people left, or people say that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like our culture is like, yeah, just find somebody hotter, find a better job. You deserve
Right.
to be happy all the time. And
Right.
it's like, to me, it's like, you know, like it's like I'm old enough to know that like the health decline years are coming, and it's like just having somebody that you
Yeah.
has seen it with you and is just going to do the shit they say they're going to do. It's like the sexiest, hottest thing ever.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like
awesome.
that's been like a really just big kind of shift away from like, you know, just being younger.
Yeah.
And that's helped
Yeah.
tremendously with marriage, because it's like, let's take care of this.
Yeah.
We're a team, you know. There's really nobody else is going to come along and know me like you do. We've like grown up together.
Right.
So yeah, not a lot of jokes in there yet, but
No, but that's a great
it's important
joke.
to me, so I want to find the punches.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Well, there are
I
also
rem-
things
yeah.
that you don't have to make into comedy. You know?
Yeah. Well, the podcast is like that, you know.
Yeah.
You make it
Yeah,
into a
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. But I remember the first time you did that joke recently, and it's so nice to like have that because there's so many polyamory
Yeah.
jokes
Oh, yeah.
and like young dating failure jokes. So
Yeah.
it like nicely balances it out.
Yeah.
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 You were talking about therapy too. It's like, you know, I'm in therapy now. For a long time I wasn't. But when I had that urge to like do stand up about it, but I didn't want to do it in a way, because you hear a lot of people doing that all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
But like you said with marriage, I wanted to do it in a non-stereotypical kind of way.
Yeah.
But those kind of topics, I feel like it takes more effort to.
Well, and y'all
tough.
both do
Yeah.
that. Just like the
Yeah.
tone and like the thoughtfulness that you both approach comedy with. It's just not what I call King of Queens wife jokes. You know, it's just like,
yeah.
it's just, I don't think anything you write is going to be taken that way.
Hacky.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who I can't say that for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your endorsement means a lot to me, because I know that you're that's
Quite
that's
critical.
important to
Yeah.
well, especially on this topic, you know. So
Totally.
I'm glad. I'm like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think Allison thinks I'm a misogynist piece
No.
of shit. So
No,
I
I don't.
Not
must
at
be
all.
doing something right, you know. 'Cause I do just feel like, I mean, I am just demographically like it. I see people my age thinking that they're progressive, but then scanning is like just the opposite. So
Yeah.
I'm in a position where I'm up in front of people that are younger like every week. So
yeah.
I think about that a lot, you know. But I also don't want to like compromise. I don't want to just be like, just pretend like I'm not trying to pass as like 30. You know, it's like I did grow up at a different time, and I don't know.
Sure.
I really like rural audiences and older audiences too. Like I fantasize about being somebody that can like travel between both worlds
Yeah.
and try to cross pollinate.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there is so much divisiveness now.
Yeah.
Yes.
which I don't like. You know.
Well, I feel like your comedy lends itself to that, to the like the universal, which is like good. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like a very divisive, like niche comedian.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I want to be like that too.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to be divisive and niche.
Well, you need some of that, right? I mean,
Oh, for
that's-
sure.
yeah.
No.
Some of my favorite comics in the world are like total weirdos.
Sorry, that was me.
But like I do think it's cool that like someone who's like as specific as like a Stephen Wright kind of comic,
Yeah.
like could be one of the biggest comics.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because he was.
and he's from Boston.
I
where,
know.
Like, no one. He's.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Or like Mitch too, like Mitch Hedberg too.
Yeah.
It's like these like weirdos, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
James Rocco, is he going to be the next?
I didn't know how I felt about him, but now I am like kind of rooting for him, I think.
I just love that he plugs the tables
I know.
every
I love
time.
it.
It's
I love it.
incredible.
Is he joking?
Yeah.
Or is he
No.
Just, and before I go,
I
get
make
some wood.
tables.
And
Are
something
you
was just
selling
kind
on
of
tables
funny.
from these comedy shows? Like, what? There's no
I
way that's
don't-
working.
Something made me
No.
laugh too about him just in the group chat being like, "Hey, I left my Apple Watch at the show."
Oh my god! It was his Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I don't keep up on all of the group chat.
Yeah.
I saw Clay trying to get the Apple Watch. He was like, "Is that not going to be claimed?"
It
Can
was
I-
James Rocco's
can I get
Apple
that?
Watch. It's probably full of like
Yeah,
dimensions for cabinets.
yeah. No, he is an interesting one because like half of the jokes I do like, and you know some of them I really don't like
Yeah.
at all. And the audience also like at Slice sometimes will just like look at him like
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what?
And
Yeah.
that's fun
But-
to be in the room for.
I agree. I agree.
Those
But he's
little-
always smiling. He has a huge smile on his
Yeah,
face no
he's-
matter what. I do like that. Like, I don't like when people are like, that
Yeah.
was funny. You should have laughed at
Yeah.
me. That's not making anybody
Yeah.
happy. At least he's like,
Yeah.
he's going with it, you know?
And I feel like he's like terrified while he's smiling. That's
Yeah.
part of what I enjoy. I
That's
feel like
fair.
he's like
It's like a craze.
just
It is.
so
Yeah.
scared inside.
It's wild
and that's
energy.
compelling. Like there's some people that just like if they're just having emotions on stage,
Yeah.
it's kind of compelling.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to Tommy Saxton a little bit. I haven't really got, but I feel like
I love Tommy Saxton.
yeah, kind of a similar thing, just adjusting the microphone and pausing, and people are like leaning in, and I'm like, what is this like charisma that some people have?
Well, he's another one who like stays smiling. You know, he's like,
Is he?
yeah.
No, but I think it's just like, see, some people just like have some type of like
Yeah.
ability to keep people's attention.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
one of them. He has some good jokes, though.
He's great.
Yeah, because it's like there's people that walk into a room and people are like, whoa, who's that? You know, and I don't feel like I've ever been like I'm trying to use comedy to like overcompensate for the fact that I don't feel like I'm that way.
Sure.
But then there's other comedians that just are
Who's that man?
They just walk on stage and everyone's like, I'm listening. And I'm
Hillary
like,
is
man.
like, yeah.
Yeah, Hillary's
Yeah,
totally like
yeah,
that. I think
for
like
sure.
Jason Webb is like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's it's just like, but they also have jokes. Like Moira, I mean, to me, she was like it was just like
Moira's
both.
one of my
I mean, just
favorites.
who is this person? But then also amazing jokes.
Yeah.
So it's just like an unstoppable.
Great storytelling.
Yeah.
She's great.
She can just do crowd work and fuck around, and it's
Yeah.
amazing every time. It's just-
And it's the way she just says
Not fair.
things. It's like she'll even say something that, like off the cuff, that's just like, wow. Like I don't know people who talk the way you do.
yeah,
And it's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss her a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll be back.
But like before she left, I didn't see her as much, so it kind of was like
Yeah,
I
tapering.
adjusted to her not being around a little bit.
Yeah,
Ryan's confident we'll all be back.
Yeah.
yeah.
All of us.
I mean, I think
Back
you guys.
again.
I don't know. It's too soon to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, you're both from North Carolina.
Yeah.
originally? Yeah.
Totally.
So that's gonna make it harder to not come back in some
That's
way.
true.
Yeah.
Uh,
James has never lived outside of North Carolina, so
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting to see
Yeah,
how
I'm
that
really
feels.
I'm really excited.
Why'd you guys pick Denver?
I really wanted to live in like an actual city.
Yeah.
I've never lived in one before. Like Allison's lived in New York.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't do comedy there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've always wanted that experience, you know, and Denver, but Denver also, like I knew I didn't want to go to New York or LA because I felt like it doesn't really suit me. And also I think I'd be anxious in both places. But like in Denver, it felt like what I liked about a city, but also what I like about Asheville, because there's like tons of mountains and hiking and stuff. And also just kind of the general friendliness of people,
Yeah,
offbeatness.
yeah,
And I like all the like breweries and stuff, but like mainly it was the comedy scene. When we started like when we did a show and started going to shows, I was like, this feels like a scene that I would love to be a part of.
Do you know
Yeah.
is Kelsey in Denver?
Yeah.
she is. Okay, yeah.
We did her showcase. when we
Okay.
went.
Is there anybody else
Yeah.
out there from here?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so.
Not that I know. No.
Yeah.
But we've had like a couple of traveling comedians that have come through have told us that Denver is like their favorite place to do comedy.
Wow.
So it's just like we're hearing a bunch of good things. We went out there, it felt good.
yeah.
And yeah, it's a good compromise for me, like between here and like some big city features and like having more access to comedy.
Yeah.
But I don't want to live in New York. I did it. It was like kind of awful. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there for the first 6 months of the pandemic and then I moved here. So I was like, I'm good on this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to die here, you know?
Yeah.
So
But they have like an actual like comedy club, you know, in Denver
Yeah.
too.
What is it? Is it
Comedy
chain one?
Works
Oh, it's like a
is-
one-off, like a.
Yeah.
That's good.
mhm. And it's like there's like 2 locations. It's like a great club. So
Yeah.
that was also a really big part of it too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I see as being here and seeing like Derek and people that then they go and come back, and
Yeah.
it definitely makes you
Mm-hmm.
a lot better. It accelerates your growth.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I don't know if you saw, there were a good number of Denver comics at last year's festival here. Live. Do you remember? Did you see
Liv Carter.
that comic? Yeah.
Well, I missed the whole festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So there's a few people there that we like know acquaintance wise that are like really cool and funny.
Totally.
You guys good at like? I networking's kind of the wrong word, but just like I feel like I'm like super bad at
I know what you're talking about.
going into like even when I just go to like Atlanta or Nashville now, and I'm like I'm a confident comedian, and then I go to like a new room where I don't know anybody, and I'm like feel like I'm going into like an open mic for the first time again.
I feel like I have to like suck it up and just be good at it because it doesn't come naturally to me at all. I feel like you're better at it than I am.
Yeah, well, it depends because I felt that way. We did the dive bar in Nashville, and I felt that way, like really
dive
awkward.
Motel with MK.
Yeah.
I like
MK.
MK.
Yeah, and they're all nice, but I was like, I don't know, having a hard time talking to people. But then we did an open mic in New Mexico, and I did really well, and I had a lot of fun. And everybody was like so easy to talk to after that, like after they see that you're funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
and you guys are traveling together too, right? So that helps.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or I don't know. Sometimes it can make it harder for me if I have somebody that I can cling to. Because I don't know.
Oh, that helps me.
But I'm going in like alone. So I do kind of wish I had a traveling buddy sometimes. But also I like being alone. I like just being like I stop to pee when I want.
Yeah.
I stay where I want. Like it's hard to working with people can be hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I remember hearing like Bill Burr say on a podcast where he was like talking to an older comic and he was like, I just hate the networking thing. Yeah. And then the older comic was like, well, too bad. You just have to do it.
I know. It's like the festival. It's like, oh, well, you're allowed to just go back there and talk. And I'm like, I will never, ever. Like, if I'm on the show, then I'm doing this thing now where I just go, after the show, I have a tendency to be like, get back home, do the next thing, but to be like, just try to stay in it a little longer than you're comfortable with. But going back to like, hey, I'm just a local comic. I'm not even on this show. How's it going? Ryan Cox. What's your Instagram? Like, I just couldn't. But I see people that can do that, and that's their natural selves. And I'm like, well, clearly that's the way to do it, I
remember the first year I started comedy here, Melissa was like giving us free tickets and stuff. And like, I was there with Moira at the festival. And when Melissa was like, oh, y'all can go back and hang out with the comics, Moira was like, okay, great, I'm going to go do that. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah,
I needed some notice to prepare myself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice, and it is nice when we travel together because that way I have a choice. Like I can just like hide and only talk to him if I'm not feeling up to it, or if I'm feeling like I have enough like juice emotionally left and energy wise, I can go talk to people that I find interesting. Yeah,
there's definitely a juice factor. It's like by the end of like there was one time in Nashville where I did 2 shows and a podcast all in the same like 5 hours or 6 hours, and I really underestimated how drained I was going to be.
Oh, sure.
I couldn't even look anyone in the eye after that. So it's kind of managing your juice and trying to, okay, maybe I'll go out and find a park and go walk around before. Yeah. Try to fill the juice up before I get into the. Yeah. Am I saying juice too much?
No, it's perfect.
Let's talk about O.J. Simpson.
Let's just talk about juice for the rest of it. But you guys are you guys like anxious, like social? Is that like for me, that's like. Being on stage and bombing is really not a big deal anymore, but it's like navigating social scenes and stuff that causes me far more.
We joke about how I tell Allison that I'm really good at hanging out. Because I feel like I am good at hanging out.
Right.
But like it's like I just want to hang out with my friends like once we're good buddies, I have a hard time like But like the
starting
comics,
a new friendship, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. But the comics in this scene, I feel all this like familiarity with. Yeah, so I just love hanging out with them.
It's built in. That's one of the things I like about it is like you do all these shows with people and then you just know them by default.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like you are good at like meeting new people and talking to people, but inside are like freaking out about it a little bit. But true. Like it's going fine. It's going well. People like you. Yeah. And I just think that I just get like super fatigued. It just depends. Like a big new group can be really hard. I prefer like a smaller group. Yeah. Me, James, and Cody going to Cookout is that's ideal. The right size for me.
Capacity.
Yeah. Like after we've done a show and we're hanging out with like 15 people, sometimes I'm like, I cannot do this for more than 30 minutes. Yeah. It just depends.
But I really like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Afterwards, I'm always glad I did it, but it's very challenging for me.
Like when we did the roast recently, like everyone who was on the roast plus like more comics were in the audience. We all like went to Barley's to hang out and have drinks. And I thought that was really great. Yeah. I love being like jovial with all those people that I love,
Yeah, that is the thing about just having like kids in a job is like, and I'm never there. And then now I don't drink, so it's like, I go to sleep early. But I love that there is that. Yeah. Like the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. I do kind of fantasize sometimes about being in this scene when as a 28-year-old without kids and being able to like throw down more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have so much more flexibility than my best friend has 2 kids, like 4 or 5 and like 2. And it's just like, she doesn't get to do anything, you know? Like you have to plan in months in advance, and we could just be like, okay, we're going to go to New Mexico today. You know, like...
for me, it's like 3 months out is the perfect time. Like we booked this podcast like probably like 6 weeks ago or something. It's like it kind of has to be that way. And there are shows where it's like, want to do this awesome show tonight? And I'm like, no, I can't because I'm gotta be a good father.
Right. It is like weird, like when you, because how old were you when you started doing stand up?
I guess it was like, I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago. So I think I was like 35. It's a little weird because I did like I did join a Toastmasters group before comedy because I was so afraid of public speaking.
Wait, what's Toastmasters?
So that was 10 years ago that I started trying to tell funny stories on stage, but then I started stand up like 8.5. So I was like a 35-ish. So pretty late, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
He asked what is Toastmasters is like a thing like that you do and you go learn how to do speeches. So it's like not necessarily related to your work, but a lot of people do it to be better at work.
I see.
And just like make friends and stuff. But it's like,
that's cool.
It's kind of like speech and debate club.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Public speaking for like which I was terrified of before comedy. I don't know. Did you guys don't seem like you had issues with that?
I did drama and theater and stuff. So
see, I never did anything like that. And like people are always surprised that I like seem so confident on stage because I never did any acting. Like I never like did anything artistic before starting comedy.
Huh.
That's wild.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
What'd you say?
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
You seem comfortable on stage.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I think like, I guess about 2 years ago, I took like a few months off, which you're not supposed to do, but it was like the best thing for me because when I came back, and I think that's when I came back, then you had started. This would have been like almost 2 years ago. Like how did you, what made you like, got you to your first open mic?
So I did sign up like when the stuff was opening up and stuff. Like I moved here during the pandemic, so I didn't have any friends that lived here. And so I signed up for an improv class, and I hated it. I was not good at it. I did not like it.
Same.
Improv sucks.
But as part of improv, a part of that class, we had to write a type 5 and do it for the class. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, I can do this. And then I started going to open mics afterwards.
That's cool. That's interesting that you wrote a type 5 for an improv class. I would not think that would have been a thing.
Well,
I don't know why you did that.
I feel like that happens sometimes. So like, I know Kelsey Rosen was like an improviser, and then she realized that stand-up was just like better
in every way. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was just like such a different thing. Yeah. It's like
you're not all pretending it's working together. It's like, no, it's not working and you're alone. Like this is, everyone knows. You're not like, we're being funny. Hey, welcome back.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Do you want me to plug in a fourth mic? You want to hop in? So what was that? Like, did you go to the Odd for your first one? What was your first?
No, I didn't go to the Odd for a while. I was pretty scared of the Odd. He remembers the first time I came to the Odd. I was like very intimidated by like the vibes.
I kept
of
asking
the
you if you'd go.
Yeah, I was like maybe.
James is like, I'm the king of the Odd. You can come with me.
So I liked Slice of Life a lot. So I like the pizza store, Asheville Pizza and Brewing. I liked those mics.
Oh, that one, that slice.
Yeah, I liked that one.
Not Pulse.
Better than Pulse. I mean, like it felt way more approachable to me at first.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I went to Freshen Up a lot, like when I first started, I think. And I did Wednesday. Like I did Wednesday for a while. Yeah, I don't think I started doing the Odd until like a year in.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I'm always curious, like which ones people start with, because I didn't like Wednesday at first, like at the Southern.
It was intimidating.
It was just too intimidating.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be like 8 people and a bunch of empty chairs for a while. That was helpful for me.
Right. The Odd was my first mic for sure.
Yeah.
When Tom was hosting.
Yeah, and I knew Tom too. So
I knew Tom already.
He was very nice.
He was so nice to me.
He acted like he knew me when I came. I appreciated that.
That's why I felt.
Unlike some people.
I really enjoyed that space though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the room.
But it's weird because like the
Our
southern
bar staff's not really that quiet, but
that's true.
we've had some.
I feel like you just have to like kind of. I like that about it. I mean, it also, I'm kind of in charge, I guess, and I could be more like on my P's and Q's of telling people to be quiet or like managing things. But like, I kind of like seeing comics like deal with the bar stuff.
Yeah.
There's
not a TV on, but there is some
there's riffraff
shouting and
you have to manage it. But the Southern was like so good. The room though on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The disclaimer mic when we started, it was like ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And you were 35, right? You're 35ish when you started.
Yeah.
Because I was so not. I'm not. I was going to say so much younger, not that much younger.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
But it's just crazy when you do a room like that that's so good and the laughs are coming so easy. And I was like 25. 24. It makes you like a kind of an asshole.
No, like, like you're like
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm so good already, And then it's like a bad way to be. I almost wish it hadn't been like that.
Yeah, I was like that in my 20s with music. I was like, drinking a lot, and just like we got to do like the orange peel and stuff. And instead of being like, now I get to do something like that. I'm like, I'm so grateful. This could be the last time. Yeah. But then I was like, of course I'm doing the orange peel. It's just like I always knew I was great. And I think there's part of that just being. That was the nice thing about starting comedy older and just being like more humble. But I still get cocky sometimes. But there's always something coming up that'll just put you in your place.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I like about traveling. Like you guys are traveling. Just going to like Atlanta or Nashville or something like will just really check me on like where I'm at in the region. And it's like, okay, that's good.
Like I get frustrated by the comics who only do Wednesday now.
Yeah.
But like it was so much worse then.
Yeah.
When they only did Wednesday and it was just like so good every time.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'm the best at this.
Yeah. Well, you were really good right away. It was kind of
nice.
weird.
Thank you.
You had good jokes and you kind of just like lovable. I don't know. I mean, I think you still have just like a presence that's kind of hard to put your finger on about why it's like likable.
That's nice.
It's like an understated. It's not like Hillary or Moira, but you do kind of have you smile.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is.
Thank you, man. That's really nice. I get intimidated sometimes by the like really boisterous, lively comics who kill all the time.
Yeah, going after someone.
We've talked about it a little bit. Yeah, where I just have to kind of adjust the room a little bit. But I've said a few times that I keep quoting podcasts that I like. But I remember Nate Bargatze said one time like that he tried to be more like lively and animated, and the audiences were like, what the fuck is this? You're not supposed to be like this. And then he realized he could like make people like cry laughing just by like speaking in a monotone voice, and doing his jokes.
Because you went after Rory that time.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like, you're not Rory. Don't act like this. Yeah. They were like freaked out.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Those two guys are like two of my big influences when I started, like their Conan sets, and they come up a lot on this podcast too. And I guess I'm just realizing like those are Southern comics that have gone all the way. So
Nate and Rory.
It kind of is interesting that those are like two people that we always they seem to. One of them seems to come up every time, and they're both just amazing.
Yeah.
And they're both so kind. Like this past year, we ran into both of them separately, and they're just so down to earth.
I forgot that we've met both of them now, and they're so sweet.
Yeah. We saw Rory at the coffee shop. Which one?
Rowan.
At Rowan, and I don't know. I was feeling like very not shy at all, and I like screamed after him.
Yeah,
like, Rory Scovel.
Yeah. Allison was like, Rory Scovel.
What did he do?
He came and talked.
He was like, "Hey,
yeah." He loved our dog Jacob.
Yeah, he was with his family, like his wife and kid. Yeah.
He was just very sweet, Southern.
In Nashville or
in Nashville, yeah. And he like kind of acted like he knew us, like he didn't. You know what I mean? He was being very diplomatic in a very sweet way.
He's like always like probably in that situation where he's like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to know this person or not, so I can kind of flip that switch to.
Right.
I think I probably mentioned like Carrie's name as like a touchstone. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Carrie,
Petey and Carrie,
exactly,
my
boys."
Right.
We were all there back in the 2000s when
Athena's, right?
But that's a real skill of like the networking part. Like you can tell that he's like taught himself to be really good at it.
For
sure.
To be like, real humble, don't offend people. Yeah.
It is refreshing how many people that are like, successful or you get to open up for are like at least can act kind and empathetic and pretend to remember your name. I mean, it is because there's, I don't know. I'm sure that there's like some sociopaths that make it all the way, but I think in general it does help to be kind, and it kind of teaches you to be that way. Like I like that, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because I was like in my 20s, I was like not like that. I was like trying to go with like
wasn't
rock
like
star
that
energy.
either.
Like
Yeah.
I'm entitled to this and that. And
Yeah.
it didn't work out well.
Yeah, I was the same way. I feel like there's parallels in our story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You never scanned that way to me. Fucking
Yeah,
arrogant.
I mean, you don't scan that way to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also played when I was like that when I played music too. That like felt like I deserved things. Like our band did.
Yeah.
I feel like music is like it
Or
makes like a lot of the people that I liked, like I feel like were like these outsiders, cool guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I guess comedy's like that too a little bit.
Yeah.
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 But it's better when you're the Rory guy, you know. Yeah. Or the Nate guy.
Yeah, the thing that blows my mind, did you watch like the Live Without Fear documentary where it's like
Oh yeah,
just the fully improvised sets? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's just
the ones that
just
in Atlanta. Yeah.
walking out to the mic with no idea what you're going to do, and then you just do it, and it's great. I mean, I would like to move more in that direction. Like he's really inspired me to be more that way.
And he's so funny in the like the parts of that documentary when he's not on stage. We're like cracking me.
Yeah.
up. Like when he's just talking in like a room. I think that's really like he just seems like he's just the funniest guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It is cool like that they both came from the South too. I didn't really thought about that with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southern comics. I mean, they had to move somewhere else to
Yeah.
make it. But and Bergazzi is just like, I feel like his cadence is just like magic. There's something about his cadence.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he's like got a lot going on, but the
For
sound
sure.
of his voice is like hypnotizes rooms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On this most recent tour, I like was just my stomach hurt. I was crying, laughing so hard at
Yeah.
him.
Oh, you saw Nate recently?
Yeah, we saw a lot of great comics this past year. I saw him like 2 or 3 times, I think.
Was it in a giant room too? He does like the big.
Yeah. The time
Yeah.
when
And
he
he's
like
still-
killed me was in it was in Thomas Wolfe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Joe Zimmerman opened for him too.
Oh wow.
And
That
then,
was
but we had, and I remember we had the worst seats in the whole stadium. We
Yeah.
were like against the cement wall in the back, and we were like dying.
Yeah, it
laughing.
was like one of the best
Yeah.
shows that I've
Wow.
ever seen. And then
Yeah.
I saw him again in Greenville at like whatever their big theater is.
Bilo Ingalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stadium.
Whichever one. Yeah. Totally.
And it was good because I see those guys only play those rooms, and I'm like, it's just so big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to like go with my kid to see like Nate Bargatze.
Oh yeah,
because we can. He's like one of the people that I think is a genius that we can watch together.
my
And
parents
I remember
love him.
Nate
Yeah.
saying that in an interview. He's like, when I look out and I see like a dad and his kid like laughing together, that's like the best thing. And as cheesy
Yeah.
as that sounds, it's
No,
like,
I'm with him.
He's not cheap. He's like brilliant and good. I don't
I'm
know
totally
how,
with him.
How
Yeah.
you can be all that? It's,
I know.
No
yeah.
one-
He's
who
so
else?
funny.
yeah.
And I think that is like a cool aspiration. Like I think that's cooler than whatever those like angry lone wolf comics
Yeah.
want to do. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stanhope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's more difficult. Like it takes
Right.
more
Yeah.
skill to
Yeah.
be that funny and to not do the cheap shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I've always liked Gaffigan too. Like I'm a big Gaffigan
Yeah.
guy. And I know he gets a lot of like flack, but I defend him.
Yeah. Did you see him?
Yeah, we saw him when he came too.
Yeah, I probably should have gone to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Chris Gethard. Have you seen him live?
Oh, I love him.
His most recent I guess it should come out soon. When we saw him most recently, he did a lot of like father stuff, storytelling stuff.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing is when I listen back to this, I'll like check them out. That's the nice thing about this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All these different ideas.
He's got an HBO special called Career
Suicide.
Suicide. That's probably 6-7 years old. I saw it live when he was like workshopping it and when he did it on Broadway.
So
It was
cool.
really, or like off Broadway. Yeah.
I love seeing like the person on tour and then seeing the special and what
Yeah.
changed.
I know.
Yeah. It's so
I love
fun.
that.
Yeah, me and my buddy got to see Birbiglia when he was workshopping, like the one that just came out on Netflix.
Yeah,
That
we
was
got our
cool.
tickets to see him in
yeah.
December here.
Nice.
Oh,
It's like
fun.
December 12th.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I saw him here last time he was here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Cool. Well, we should probably wrap up soon. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you guys wanted to cover?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you
Hey.
so much for coming on.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.